excited. You know why I'm excited? I just saw the schedule for the Spring Championship of Online Poker. That's right, the scoop is right around the corner. But before we get to that, let's do the Sunday Million Highlight Show. I'm David Tuckman. 7,695 runners came out to play this. We are down to our final 9. Prize pool of over 1.5 million. Blinds are 200,000 and 400,000. Our chip leader right now, Pasha, 1986. Pasha from Belarus. Merfinis with 5.5 million. He's going to shove all in with the King Queen. Got a couple of people with chips here, Hofkon and Pasha, and then really it's very flat. 7 players between 3 million and 7 million. Folds around to the big blind. Noobladonk going to call all in with the ace-jack. Noobladonk at risk. Well, he hits top pair. Merfinis open-ended though. A king, a queen, an ace, or a 9 ends Noobladonk's tournament. 7 of hearts not going to do it though, and Noobladonk doubles up to 7.4 million. Merfinis at 1.9 million. Hand number 3. J Brown 877 going to raise. It makes it 2x. And when I say 2x, of course, as always, I mean 2 times the big blind. J Brown, that's Joel Brown, who won a World Series of Poker Circuit Tour event back in 2008. Hofkon with the Kings. There's the 3-bet. I'm not a fan of calling off my chips. I'd rather be pushing than calling. But when you've got jacks in the big blind, and you've only got about 4 big blinds, not much you can do than call here if you're Merfinis. Folds around to Merfinis. There's the call for 1.9 million. Just under 5 big blinds in all. J Brown gets out of the way. Hofkon obviously not going anywhere. Pot will be 5.19 million and Merfinis at risk with jacks. Ace with a couple of 4s out there. Running 4s will chop it. Well, that's not a 4, so only a jack will save Merfinis. And that, my friends, is not a jack. 8 of clubs on the river, and Merfinis from Lithuania gone in 9th place. He'll take home $11,927. This is a look at your final 8. Pasha 1986, our chip leader. Hofkon right behind him with 17 million. Ooh, Rozar1o gonna make some moves here. He is up to 9.4 million. Joel Brown bringing up the rear with just about 3.6 million. Blinds are 250,000, 500,000. Once again, I'm David Tuckman. If you want to talk poker, say hi. Have a comment about any Sunday Million. You can always tweet me at TuckOnSports. Pasha 1986 going to raise. Expect a shove here from AlInclusive and a call from J Brown. Writing on the wall there. There's the shove from AlInclusive. Just a standard hand that plays itself. There's the call. It'll be 4.2 million when it gets back to Pasha. And while he's getting good odds, he has to imagine that he's probably dominated in at least one spot. And we can see he's in really bad shape. Pasha gives it up. Pot is 9.4 million. And Joel Brown is at risk. 654. All good for AlInclusive. King on the turn, and J Brown takes the lead. Jack on the river, and J Brown up to 9.4 million. AlInclusive back down to 1.6 million, about 3 big blinds. Hofkon with tons of chips, 16.2 million. Still, though, that is only about 32 big blinds. Joel Brown in the cutoff seat with 8s. There's the raise. This will be interesting when it gets to the blinds. Rozar1o from the Ukraine with 4s. It wouldn't be inconceivable that he makes a move, and in fact, milla is not letting this one go so easy on the button. Finally does, though. Rozar1o in the small blind with the 4s. He's going to let it go. Hofkon has chips, has ace-queen. There's the 3-bet. Back over to Joel Brown, 877. And what do you do if you have 8s? He's going to shove all in for $9.3 million. Hofkon getting more than 2-1. I think he's pretty much committed himself. And sometimes this is the problem. You 3-bet with a hand, well, you don't want to get 4-bet. And then suddenly you get 4-bet, now you look at the pot, you're getting 2-1, and you talk yourself into calling. And obviously we can see in this particular spot that it's a coin flip, but if Joel Brown had ace-king here, Hofkon would be way behind. Pretty much a coin flip here. Jay Brown still in the lead with 8s. An ace, a queen, or a 9 would end his tournament. 5 of clubs, a safe one, and Joel Brown has now doubled up and is just behind Pasha for the tournament lead. Interestingly enough, I spoke to well-known pro David Williams about chip preservation, about protecting the big stack, and he's a big advocate for that. Now, there's a fine line between accumulating chips and staying aggressive when you have a large chip stack, but at the same time, obviously, protecting that big stack. There are things you can do with a large stack that you can't necessarily do when you have a medium stack or a small stack. All-inclusive, all-in with ace-queen for his last 1.5 million chips. We know he's going to get called. He's only in for 3 big blinds, so certainly Pasha is going to make this call with deuces. Pasha does make the call. Pot 3.6 million. 10-5-4. No suits out there. A jack, an ace, or a queen will save all-inclusive. Otherwise, it's over, and it is over. 9 of spades on the river, and all-inclusive from Romania, gone in 8th place. Takes home $17,698. We are down to 7. And now you look at Hofkon's stack. Back to that point about preserving a big stack, protecting the big stack. Like I said, fine line between staying aggressive and preservation. And with 16 million chips, there were a bunch of things that he could do. Now with 6 million chips and only 12 big blinds, he has to play a much different game. Get a raise from Jay Brown. You expect a 3-bet here from Pasha. But he is playing against one of the bigger stacks. In fact, Jay Brown right now, second in chips. But there's the 3-bet from Pasha, 1986. 1.3 million back over to Jay Brown. He's going to make the call. Pot is just over 5.5 million chips. Pretty good flop for Pasha. Top pair, top kicker. Nothing there for Jay Brown at all. Expect a small continuation bet here from Pasha, 1986. 1.8 million. And unless Jay Brown wants to make a move, you imagine this hand is over. He's going to call. He's floating. Ace on the turn. Pasha's going to check. He's got the board dominated. Jay Brown's going to check it back. The ace, not a great card to represent if you're Jay Brown. And you imagine that's why he's given up. 7 of hearts on the river. You might even see Pasha check this one more time. Good players always trying to figure out what's the best way for me to get value. Can I get value if I bet? Can my opponent call me with a worse hand? I mean, certainly he can. But the fact that Jay Brown checked back the turn would indicate that he doesn't have a very strong hand here. Pasha's going to bet. I think it's more likely that Jay Brown would probably have a middish pair. Something like 8s or 9s, maybe even 6s. I don't mind the bet from Pasha at all. Milla with 6s. Not going to play. 7-handed, first position, under the gun, fold 6s. Maybe a little bit cautious. Hofkon raises with Queen 10. Over to Jay Brown. Jay Brown's going to shove. Jay Brown doesn't buy it. He's been playing with Hofkon long enough. He doesn't buy it, and Hofkon calls off. I just can't believe that Hofkon has decided to put his tournament life on the line with Queen High. Forget about the percentages. Forget about the results. This is a terrible call. I don't care what happens. This is a terrible call by Hofkon. 9 high flop. 4 diamonds on the turn. Only a queen or a 10 will save Hofkon. The ace of spades not going to do it. And Hofkon, just like that, gone in 7th place.
Rafa Nadal, 11-time Grand Slam champion. Versus Lucia Arroyo. In the town pillow fight of 2009, she was runner-up. We are competition anytime. We are poker.
Welcome back to the Sunday Million Highlights Show. This is a look at your final 6. Ruuuuby, our short stack, Pasha 1986, has been our chip leader throughout the final table. We're going to jump ahead to hand 31. Back over to Hofkon just for a second. And he came to the final table second in chips, and it's rare that I'm that hard on a player, but you just wonder if losing with the ace-queen to Jay Brown put him on tilt. I just don't understand how you put your tournament life on the line with Queen High. I mean, shoving with Queen High, completely different thing. You can shove with any 2 cards. But calling off with Queen High just doesn't make any sense to me. Rozar1o raises with jacks. Folds around to the big blind. Joel Brown 877 with 22.9 million chips. You might see him call here. And he does call, getting 4-1. Does have to play the hand out of position. And, of course, there are reverse implied odds if you flop top pair and it's under the jacks. And that's exactly what Jay Brown has done here. He's got 10s and 8s. Continuation bet from Rozar1o. Wouldn't surprise me at all if Joel Brown check raised here and ended up doubling up Rozar1o. Writing is kind of on the wall. There's the check raise to 2.7 million. I don't think he can get away from it now. Rozar1o's going to put all his chips in there with the jacks. You got me beat, buddy. And it's back over to Joel Brown. And at this point, he probably doesn't like it, but he makes the call. He needs a 10 or a king. Running 8s would help him as well. And now just a 10 or a king. Queen of clubs, and there's a double up from Rozar1o. From the Ukraine, he is now at 15.1 million chips. Joel Brown down to 16 million. Blinds at 300,000, 600,000. Ruuuuby with the ducks. He's got about 6 big blinds. You might see him shove here. There's a shove. Noobladonk wakes up with jacks. He's going to shove over the top. And it'll be Ruuuuby's tournament life on the line. From the UK, ruuuuby looking for a deuce. Pasha 1986, not going to make this call. And we will see it heads up. Noobladonk against ruuuuby. Noobladonk about a 4-1 favorite to eliminate ruuuuby. And a bigger favorite now on a jack-high flop. Only running deuces. And that is going to do it for ruuuuby. ruuuuby, once again from the UK, he'll pocket $46,170. And when I say pocket, I don't literally mean in his pocket. That would be an awful lot of money to stick in somebody's pocket. But he takes home $46,000. Well done for his 6th-place efforts. We are down to just 5. Rozar1o with his newfound chips. Going to put a little bit of pressure on his opponents. Joel Brown smells something funny. He's going to 3-bet. Very small sizing. Now, in today's game, it seems like the sizing has gotten smaller and smaller. And I don't normally mind that, but in this particular spot, the sizing is so small, and you have to play the hand out of position if you're Joel Brown. You've given your opponent about 4-1 to make the call, and he can play the hand in position. Instead, Rozar1o is actually going to 4-bet. Back over to Joel Brown. And I could be completely crazy here. Joel Brown does fold. But my only thinking is, if Rozar1o actually had a hand, let's say he had a queen-jack suited or something along those lines, or an ace-10, he'd be getting the odds to make the call. Now, we saw that Joel Brown 3-bet with queen-8. Obviously, he was just hoping to take it down pre-flop. But the sizing is so small that unless your opponent has literally garbage, he probably will make the call. Some big hands here. Pasha makes it 2x with ace-king. Joel Brown's going to shove all in. And I can tell you right now, it's not going to work. Milla with 9s, and this might save Milla. Milla considering it. He's got to worry about Pasha still behind him, and he's going to give up the 9s. Pasha's calling this every single day of the week and twice on Sundays. There's the call. Pot is 22.8 million chips, and just like that, Joel Brown is at risk. Queen 8-6, nothing there for him yet. Jack on the turn, and Joel Brown takes the lead. Pasha needs a 10 or a king on the river, and it's a 10! 10 of clubs on the river. Pasha 1986 makes Broadway, is up to 37 million chips, and Joel Brown 877 is gone in 5th place. He adds $61,000 to his bankroll. And the blinds remain at 300,000, 600,000 as we play 4-handed. Couple of big hands in the blinds. We get a raise from Pasha with the jacks. You could see a shove here from Noobladonk, and I wouldn't hate it at all. There's the shove from Noobladonk. 4-handed. Player in the small blind raises. I don't mind the shove with king 10. Unfortunately for Noobladonk, he walks in the jacks. And Pasha spikes a jack. Noobladonk needs running cards, and that's not going to do it. 5 of spades on the turn, and the 8 of clubs on the river, and Noobladonk is gone in 4th place. Also from the UK, he'll take home $77,565. We are down to just 3 players. Blinds 400,000, 800,000. Pasha raising with the Ducks. Mac Milla going to shove with king 10. Pasha getting about 1.5 to 1 to make this call. He's going to make the call. $775. Mac Milla needs a 5, a king, or a 10. A 5, a king, a 10, or an 8. 7 is not going to help him. Pasha with the full house, eliminating Mac Milla in 3rd place. The Brazilian takes home $115,000.
We are anticipation. Committed. Anonymous. Focused. Holding it in. We are poker.
Poker indeed. We are heads up here for the Sunday Million title and for well over 6 figures. Pasha with a stranglehold on it at 58 million. Rozar1o with about 15 million. They do make a deal here. Take a little bit of money off the table, but still a significant sum on the table. And of course, the title. Rozar1o raising on the button with Jack 9. Pasha's going to 3-bet. I was about to say, with 8-4 offsuit, you're either 3-betting or folding. Rozar1o makes the call. A little bit of something for both players. Open-ended for Pasha 1986. Rozar1o with middle pair and a gut shot. Action on Pasha 1986. Once again, Pasha from Belarus, Rozar1o from the Ukraine. And Pasha's going to shove all in. Rozar1o makes the call. Pot just about 30 million chips. A jack or a 6 would end it. 5's not going to do it. A jack or a 6? Nope, the deuce of spades on the river, and Rozar1o up to 29.7 million. Pasha at 1986. And I mentioned that these players made a deal. My guess is they made the deal right around here. Rozar1o raising to 1.6 million. There's the 3-bet. This could all go in pre-flop. Nope, Rozar1o just going to call. Play the hand in position. Position's so important in poker. Ace-high flop. Not a great flop if you've got deuces. Pasha was the 3-better, though. And based on that, you'd imagine that he has more aces in his range than Rozar1o would have. Let's see if he can represent. Well, he's going to try to represent. Obviously, it's not going to work because Rozar1o's got an ace. A bet from Pasha, a call from Rozar1o. Nine on the turn. That gives Rozar1o 2 pair. Pasha bets 5.3 million, clearly turning his deuces into a bluff. We can see that's not going to work because Rozar1o with aces up is going to raise to 10.7 million. He is hoping that Pasha's got a hand. Pasha's hand goes in the muck. And for the first time at this final table, we have a new chip leader. Rozar1o with 40 million, Pasha with 36 million. Get a raise in the button, a call from Pasha. And if there's one theme of this heads-up battle between Rozar1o and Pasha, it's the fact that Pasha is playing most of the big hands from out of position. It goes check, check on the flop. Ace-deuce still in the lead. Pasha checks the flop and the turn. Rozar1o's going to bet the turn after checking it back. Gets looked up. River's a queen. And you wonder if Rozar1o can bluff Pasha out. He's going to bet 3.2 million. Very tough spot for Pasha 1986. You'd think when your opponent checked back the flop that he's got showdown value and that he would actually have something. Pasha does lay it down. Nice bet by Rozar1o. Rozar1o now with a 2-1 chip lead over Pasha 1986. Raise on the button. Rozar1o makes the call. 10-10-3. Ace-5 still in the lead. Hand 105. Pasha's going to bet here. Rozar1o makes the call. When a player bets a board like 10-10-3, more often than not, they either don't have showdown value, which is the reason why they have to bet, or they have a monster that they're trying to get value from. What I've found is that when players check back the flop after raising pre-flop, they usually, not always, but usually have showdown value. Pasha's going to double barrel with 9 high. And I don't know if Rozar1o's folding. Nope, Rozar1o makes the call. Pot is 10.7 million chips. Rozar1o checks over to Pasha. Can he triple barrel this? The pot is 10.7 million. Nope, Pasha's going to check it back. And Rozar1o's going to win a big pot. He is now up to 56 million chips. Pasha at 20 million. Oh, the tournament could end right here. This could be it. Rozar1o on the button with jacks. Pasha with the threes. There's the shove from Pasha. Rozar1o's going to make this call. There's the call. Pot is 33 million chips. And this could be it. Rozar1o a 4-1 favorite to win the hand and the tournament. Hand 124, ace, king, queen. Pasha needs a 3. Amazingly, an ace would chop it. But the 9 of spades is going to end it. Pasha, 1986, congratulations. He came to the final table as the chip leader. He leaves in second place. He takes home $201,000 courtesy of that deal. Rozar1o Agro, our champion. He takes home nearly $200,000 and the coveted Sunday Million title. Once again, 7,695 players started this tournament. This is a look at your final 9. Rozar1o Agro from the Ukraine, your Sunday Million winner. Hope you enjoyed the show as much as I did. Don't forget, the Spring Championship of Online Poker is literally right around the corner. And all the highlights, as always, will be here on PokerStars.tv. Until next time, I'm David Tuckman. Reach for the stars.